Hello, welcome to Programming in Scratch, a basic guide video for. In this video, we're going to create a simple clicker game that uses some key programming concepts in Scratch, like variables and loops. By the end of this lesson, you'll have a basic game where a counter runs automatically, and the player interacts by pressing the spacebar to increase their score. Along the way, you'll also learn how to create a win condition, so that when the player reaches a certain score, they win the game. Once we've finished, I'll share a few ideas on how to make your game more exciting. Step 1 is to set up a variable that we'll call count. To do this, open Scratch and look on the left-hand side of the screen where you'll find different categories of blocks. Click on the orange section labeled Variables. Here, you'll see an option to create a new variable. Click on Make a Variable and name it count. Once you've done that, you'll notice a small box appears on the stage with the label count. This box will automatically show the value stored in the variable as the game runs. Right now, it's set to 0, but we'll make it change soon. For now, our variable is ready, and we can move on to the next step. In step 2, we're going to set up a loop that will repeat 500 times, gradually increasing the count variable. First, go to the light orange section labeled Control and find a block that says Repeat. Drag this into the coding area and type 500 inside the repeat block. This means the loop will run 500 times before stopping. Now, go back to the dark orange variables section, grab the block that says Change Count by 1, and place it inside the repeat loop. This will make the count go up by 1 each time the loop runs. To stop it from going too fast, let's add a short delay. From the light orange control section, find the block that says Wait, and place it inside the repeat loop as well. Change the 1 to 0.1, so the loop will pause for 1/10 of a second before continuing. This gives the game a nice, smooth pace. When the loop finishes after 500 repetitions, we want to display a message that the game is over. To do this, go to the purple look section and find a block that says, say, for 2 seconds. Place this block right after the repeat loop, and inside the text box, type Game Over. Now, we've set up a loop that counts from 1 to 500 and pauses for 0.1 seconds each time. When it's finished, it shows a message. With this part done, we can move on to the next section. Next, in step 3, we'll add another variable to keep track of the player's score. Go back to the Variables section and click Make a Variable again, just like you did for count. Name this new variable Score. Now that we have a score variable, we'll make it so that every time the spacebar is pressed, the score goes up by 1. To do this, go to the light orange Events section and drag out the block that says When, space key pressed. This block will make Scratch listen for when the spacebar is pressed. Next, return to the Variables section and drag the Change Score by 1 block, placing it directly under the spacebar event block. Now, every time the spacebar is pressed, the score variable will increase by 1. With this in place, the player can now interact with the game and increase their score. But we also need a way to tell if they've won the game, so that's what we'll set up next. In step 4, we'll add a win condition based on the player's score. If the score reaches more than 100, a message will appear telling the player that they've won. To do this, we'll use a conditional statement. Go to the light orange control section and find the block that says If, Then. Drag this into the coding area right under the code that increases the score when the spacebar is pressed. Now, we need to set up the condition. Go to the green operators section and find a block that says Value More Than. Place this inside the If block. Go to the dark orange variable section and drag the variable score into the first blank, and in the second blank, type 100. This condition checks whether the score is greater than 100. If it is, we'll show a message to the player. Inside the If block, drag a Say, for 2 seconds block from the purple looks section and type You Win in the text box. Now, whenever the score variable goes over 100, the game will show the message You Win for 2 seconds. This means we've now set up a win condition, and the player will be rewarded for reaching a high score. Now our basic game is complete. This simple game could be expanded in many different ways. For example, you could add more challenges by creating different levels. After the player wins by reaching 100 points, you could reset the score and make the game faster, adding more difficulty as they progress. Another idea would be to introduce other keys that increase the score by different amounts or create obstacles that lower the score. You could also add a timer, giving the player a certain amount of time to reach 100 points before the game ends. Adding a timer would increase the pressure and make the game more exciting. There are endless ways to improve and add to your game using Scratch, and by experimenting with different ideas, you can make your clicker game even more fun to play. And that's it. You now know how to create and edit sprite, backdrops, and animations. Now it's up to you. We've provided some ideas on how to move forward. If you enjoyed our content, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe, as it really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.